All right, so today we're going to be diving into something pretty interesting. It's all about bringing those folks who've been out there in the trenches, working in actual industries into the world of academia.
Yeah.
This whole concept was sparked by something I heard on the Higher Ed Jobs and Well-Being podcast.
Yeah.
They made this point that just stuck with me. Book smarts don't always cover everything.
Ah, yeah, I like that.
And it really got me thinking, there's so much value in hands-on experience, stuff you just can't get from a textbook.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? When you take all that theoretical knowledge and actually have to apply it in a real world setting.
Exactly. And that brings us to this idea of a professor of practice. Now, I'm curious, have you ever had a professor with that title? Someone who maybe wasn't the traditional academic but had tons of experience from working in a specific field?
It's becoming more and more common these days, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, the professor of practice title is a way to acknowledge that these individuals bring something unique to the table. They might not have the typical academic credentials like a PhD, but they have a wealth of practical knowledge and a different way of looking at things.
Right. Right. It's not just about the letters after your name. It's about what you've actually done out there in the world.
Exactly.
Now, the podcast we're diving into today, they highlighted two major benefits of having these professors of practice around. One was networking,
Mm-hmm.
and the other was understanding users. Let's break those down a bit. Starting with networking. I mean, it's more than just attending conferences, right?
Yeah.
What makes the networking of these professors so unique?
Yeah, it's a different kind of networking. You see, someone who spent years working in a particular industry has built up these incredible connections, colleagues, clients, maybe even competitors they've come to respect over the years. It's a network that's been cultivated through real-world interactions, and that can be incredibly valuable for students.
Oh,
Think about it. It's like suddenly having access to a whole new world of opportunities. Internships at cutting-edge companies, mentorship from seasoned professionals. It could even lead to job offers straight out of school. But it's not just about the students. Faculty can benefit too. Finding collaborators for research projects, getting industry funding, having access to the latest technology and resources, the possibilities are pretty exciting.
it's like they're a bridge between the classroom and the real world,
Exactly.
which is something that traditional academics, no matter how brilliant they are, might not always be able to provide.
I agree.
Okay, and then there's this idea of understanding users. I
Yeah.
really love that phrase. Gets at something pretty crucial, I think.
It does. And it's something that someone with industry experience is likely to have a really strong grasp of because
Yeah.
they've been there. They've worked directly with customers, with clients, with the people who are actually going to be using whatever product or service is being developed. They've had to understand their needs, their pain points, their motivations. That kind of insight is invaluable.
It is. And it's something that can really enhance teaching, especially in fields where user-centered thinking is so important.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about fields like design, engineering, business, anywhere where the end user experience is paramount.
So the difference between reading about a problem in a textbook and actually having to solve it for a real person with real stakes involved.
Exactly. And I think that real-world perspective can make the subject matter much more engaging for students.
For sure. I mean, imagine you're taking a software development class
Okay.
and your professor is someone who's actually built and launched successful software products. Wouldn't that be so much more insightful than learning from someone who's only studied the theory?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that kind of experience can bridge the gap between theory and practice in a really powerful way.
Now, thinking about your own area of expertise, where do you see the most potential for a professor of practice to make a real impact? What specific skills or insights do you think would be most valuable in your field?
That's a great question. In any field, I think the most valuable skills that someone from industry could bring are the ability to think critically and solve problems creatively. Being able to analyze a situation, identify the key issues, and come up with innovative solutions, that's something that's honed in the real world through experience.
Like, you can teach the concepts, but that real-world problem-solving is a different beast altogether.
It is. And another thing that's important is adaptability. The ability to adjust to changing circumstances, to be flexible and think on your feet. because the one constant in any industry is that things are always changing.
Makes sense.
And of course, strong communication skills are essential.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to convey complex ideas clearly and persuasively, both in writing and verbally.
Those soft skills are often what sets people apart no matter what field they're in.
Definitely. And I think those skills would be particularly valuable in my field, which often involves working with diverse groups of people from different backgrounds and with different perspectives.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about the technical expertise. It's about being able to navigate the complexities of human interaction as well.
Precisely. And that's something that someone with a lot of real-world experience is likely to have developed.
Okay. So to sum up what we've been diving into today, it seems like having professors of practice in academia can bring a whole lot to the table.
It does.
They bring practical experience, their networks can open up amazing opportunities for students and faculty, and their understanding of users can make teaching and research much more relevant and impactful.
It's a win-win situation, really. And it challenges this notion that academic knowledge and real-world experience have to be separate things.
Yeah, it's like breaking down those silos and acknowledging that both are important.
I agree.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and thoughts on this.
My pleasure. It's been a great conversation.
And for our listeners out there, as you continue learning and exploring your own fields, I'd like to leave you with something to think about. How could a professor with industry experience enrich your specific learning environment? What unique skills or insights do you think they would bring that would benefit you the most? It's a question worth pondering, and the answers might surprise you.
I totally agree. Think about what's missing from your current educational experience. And could someone from the outside world help to fill that gap? It's an exciting possibility to consider.
Absolutely. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time.
Take care.